Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Mr. Dodge, you didn't tell me you were going to tell everybody my birthday was today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mayor Ordis. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Took a long time to get to this birthday. Okay, roll call, City Clerk, please.
Commissioner Castillo?
Here.
Commissioner Good? Commissioner Schwartz?
Here.
Vice Mayor Seifel,
I'm here.
Mayor Ordus,
Here.
City Manager Dodge,
Here.
City Attorney Gorin.
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, did you have something to?
I did, Mayor. Before we get started, to first of all celebrate some promotions. We had a tremendous loss in our community last week. Former principal Carlton Campbell passed away tragically last week, and he had done so much for our community. Pines Middle, he served for decades with the Broward County School Board, and the amount of impact that he had outside of our borders was quite impactful. So if we can have a moment of silence for him, please.
Thank you very much. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. We now have a great event. We're going to promote some of our great police department.
So while the mayor, is it on? Can you hear me? So while the mayor's walking up, my name's Kip Shimpano. I'm your police chief. Thanks for the honor of letting me be your police chief. It's been wonderful. But tonight I get to do one of the most funnest things a police chief does, and that's promote people to positions of higher leadership. And we like to do it at the commission meeting because you guys should know who your police leaders are and hear about what they've done so far and what they're probably going to be doing for you in the future. We couldn't be more proud of the department, the community that we serve, this unbelievable city administration for supporting us always. So with that, I have two promotions tonight, and the first one, if I could get Officer Thomas Tribune and his family to come up. Okay, so Officer Thomas Tribune, he joined the Pembroke Pines Police Department family in January of 2014. Accompanying him today are his parents, Kim and Robert, his sisters, Jessica and Taylor, his fiancée, Natalia, and her parents, Laura and Jose, and his uncle, who previously served and retired from our department as a former commander, Commander Keith Palin, and his wife, Connie. And also, finally, Thomas's cousin and current Pembroke Pines Police Sergeant, Jason Palin, who's somewhere probably along the wall somewhere. There he is, sitting down. Officer Tribune has served with our department as a patrol officer and as a member of our SWAT team. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Public Safety Administration from Florida Atlantic University, and then he achieved a Juris Doctorate from Florida International University. Officer Tribune is currently serving as a first lieutenant in the United States Army Reserve Judge Advocate General's Corps. In addition to his noted academic achievements, he has completed hundreds of hours in specialized law enforcement training courses. During his career, he has received numerous department commendations and letters of appreciation from the community. It is with great confidence that I present Officer Thomas Tribune to our city administration and our city commission, to our Pembroke Pines Police Department family, and to the residents of the city of Pembroke Pines as he enters this leadership role and the rank of sergeant. Mayor Ordus, will you please administer the oath of office?
There you are. Thank you. Raise your right hand. I, Thomas Tribune,
I, Thomas Tribune,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend,
that I will support,
protect, and
defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida,
and the charter and ordinances
and the charter and ordinances
of the city of Pembroke Pines,
of the city of Pembroke Pines,
and I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will and faithfully perform
all the duties of sergeant
all the duties of sergeant
in the Pembroke Pines Police Department,
of the Pembroke Pines Police Department,
which I'm now about to enter.
which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you so much.
Is there someone you would like to pin your badge on?
My fiance.
Okay. Slide that way for pictures. You don't want this thing in front of you. Yes, are you wearing your vest? Would you like to say a few words?
I would.
All right.
It looks like they're getting younger, Mr. Pembroke.
Okay, well, first off, thank you to the chief for that introduction. It's truly an honor to be here tonight, and I want to say thank you to a few people that have helped me along the way. First, my parents, my sisters, my fiance, my future in-laws, family and friends, and I also want to say thank you to the mayor, the city commission and staff, Chief Shimpano, command staff, and the citizens of Pembroke Pines. I also want to congratulate Jessica Jacobs on her promotion as well, which you will hear from her shortly. So about a year ago, I was at the Army's JAG School in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I was sitting at a round table with some fellow military attorneys. They were going around the room asking what we did in the civilian world and how we all ended up in the room together. I sat back, and the first soldier started to speak. He was a West Point grad that went to Harvard Law School. The next guy was appointed by the Biden administration serving in the White House. There was an appellate state court judge and an elected politician from northern Florida. When they got to me and asked what I did in the civilian world, I said, well, I'm a road patrol officer for the city of Pembroke Pines. And there was a subtle pause, and they asked why I decided to keep my job as a police officer. And to this day, I often get asked that same question. But the answer is very simple. This is my dream job. Growing up as a kid, all I wanted to do was to become a police officer, and I'm grateful that Pembroke Pines gave me that opportunity. I'm also thankful to have mentors from this agency, like Jason Talent, Keith Talent, and Kenny Hall, who introduced me to the Pembroke Pines Police Explorer program when I was just 14 years old. That program really molded me into the person I am today, and that's really where my career with Pembroke Pines started. After the Explorer program, I became a police support specialist working in telecommunications at our department. And then I was a police service aide. After that, I became an officer where I've served for the last 7 years. Each role has given me a different perspective into the operations of our police department and serving the men and women of this community. And each role has also helped me prepare for the position that I'm in now. As I stand here today, getting promoted to a sergeant, I'll never forget where I came from. I'm grateful for the opportunities that the city of Pembroke Pines gave me. I'm honored to be promoted here tonight, and I hope to take my experiences and pass them on to my fellow officers. And I'm excited to serve in this new role. Thank you again, and I hope everyone has a good night.
All right, we need a quick picture up here with family. Any other family coming up for this picture? Don't worry, we're gonna take more outside too. Here she comes.
Congratulations again.
Would Detective, for the next minute or so, Jessica Jacobs, come on up with your family? All right, Detective Jessica Jacobs joined the Pembroke Pines Police Department family in September of 2015. Accompanying her today is her husband and current Pembroke Pines Sergeant Drew Jacobs, her mother Leonore, daughters Stephanie and Madison, and her sons Brandon and Logan. Where's Brandon at? Brandon. It is a true testament of a child's pride in and support of their mother when you willingly step away from God's country and your studies at the Florida State University to be present here with us. But that's just what us Knowles do. Go Knowles. Detective Jacobs has served within our department as a patrol officer, a police explorer post advisor, a member of the threat assessment team, member of the awards committee, as a field training officer, and most recently as a detective in our special victims unit. She holds a bachelor's degree in finance as well as a master's degree in education from the University of Miami. Bravo, that's a hard school to get into. In addition to her noted academic achievements, she has completed hundreds of hours in specialized law enforcement training, and during her career, she has received numerous department commendations and letters of appreciation from the community. These include 2 Distinguished Performance Awards, an Administrative Excellence Award, and the prestigious Life Saving Award. It is with great confidence that I present Detective Jessica Jacobs to our city administration, our city commission, to our Pembroke Pines police family, and to the residents of the city of Pembroke Pines as she enters this leadership role in the rank of sergeant. Mayor Ortiz, will you do the oath of office?
That way. Raise your right hand. I, Jessica Jacobs, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the state of Florida and the charter and ordinances of the city of Pembroke Pines, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state, and that I will well and faithfully perform all the duties of sergeant in the Pembroke Pines Police Department, which I'm now about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations. Would you like to pin your badge?
I would like to take this time to thank the city manager, the mayor, and the commission, as well as Chief Shimpano and the command staff for this opportunity. I am very excited and grateful to be here. This promotion is something I've been looking forward to and a goal I set for myself a while back. However, as some of you may know, it recently became a bittersweet step in my growth within the department. The last few months, I had the privilege of being a detective with a special victims unit. The experience is one I will not forget. The knowledge gained not only from the work done, but from the remarkable detectives in the unit will move on with me. Thank you guys for an amazing experience. Preparing and studying for the sergeant's exam with 5 kids, 3 dogs, a cat, a husband, and a grandchild just a few months before the exam was nothing short of difficult. The late nights and early mornings were indeed a challenge. However, this process involved more than just me. It affects the whole family, therefore making it a team effort for me to succeed. First, I would like to thank God for, as Randy Sutton stated in Behind the Badge, giving me the fire I needed to get through the race and the grit to get through the fight with victory. Without the strength I find in him, this moment would not have been possible. I would also like to thank my children. I know I missed school events, parties, dinners with the family, and I probably forgot to pick you up from a practice or two. But I love you guys to the moon and back. You are my why. In addition, I want to thank my husband, Drew, for his constant and unwavering support. I'm sure those 2 a.m. policy questions were not fun for you, especially when I was waking you up mid-sleep. But not only did you support me through this process, you've supported me with everything I set my mind to do. And for those of you who know me, that's no easy task. While I strongly believe that everyone and everything in this department has shaped me in one form or another, and I am truly grateful for that, there are certain people who have pushed me to be the best me I can be. Through tough times, they provided encouragement and motivation, and through good times, they've praised and continue to encourage. Captain Sean Willard and Captain Viola Duran. The threat assessment team may have given me gray hair, but unquestionably taught me and made me a more well-rounded officer. Your faith in my ability to lead the team and assist with the growth of the unit was invaluable in helping me grow. The exposure and growth is very much appreciated. Captain Tamara Goldich. From my first day on Alpha Shift, you set expectations for me, and boy, did you set them. But nonetheless, you were there by my side, not only to make sure I met them, but that I exceeded them. You saw the passion I had within, and you helped me thrive. You've challenged and strengthened me every step of the way, and I truly have grown from your direct and honest approach. Thank you. Sergeant Jim Helms. Even through your sarcasm and tough love, challenging times always have a positive outcome with you. I can trust to hear the hard truth as much as an encouraging phrase at just the right time. You've acknowledged my strength, assisted me to grow, shared your knowledge, and helped me find what kind of leader I want to be. Outstanding. Last but not least, Sergeant Andres Lopez. From working BST Ops to the amount of personal time you gave up tutoring me for the sergeant exam, you have always believed in me and seen the potential that at times I needed reminding was there. No matter how hard it got, you helped me see things through with just a few words. Your friendship and support during these times are instrumental in getting me to where I am today. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Congratulations to Sergeant Thomas Tribune. On to our next chapter.
So Mayor and Commission, thank you for the time. We appreciate it very much. There's probably going to be an exodus here in a second. Actually, you know what? How many presentations you want us to say?
5. We can take a 10-minute break.
We're going to take a very short break. Staff, we're going to go outside and take some pictures. Okay? Thanks.
Good job. I will take 5 minutes. Yeah.
There's 6 of them. Me, same hole, Eric, I'm swapping my nephew.
Make sure your mic's off.
And, one of the explorers, my father. How you doing?
Okay, if we can take our seats, we'll proceed with our meeting. Thank you. first one?
Put them on this side over here.
Okay, if we can come back to order, we'll continue with our meeting. Thank you for your cooperation. I just wanted to make an announcement that you probably noticed it. You probably noticed it, but Channel 78, the city's Comcast station, is out. We went, asked Mr. Kefford, he's in process of helping restore that. So in case you want to know, 78 is out. All right, we have some great certificates here to present. And our first one, we would like to bring up Gladys Vasquez, Amog, Barwell, and Anya Fink for being selected as the City of Pembroke Pines Extra Mile Heroes in honor of Extra Mile Day 2023. Ladies, come on up. Let's go right here. Oh, there you are. Okay, this is Anya Fink. The City of Pembroke Pines would like to recognize Anya Fink as a City of Pembroke Pines Extra Mile Hero. Anya is a Pembroke Pines Charter High School student and has 1,040 volunteer hours. Anya gives most of her time to Potential Church and the PPCH Sports Medicine Program. Anya is a founding leader of the Jaguar Athletic Training Students and is pursuing a career in sports medicine. Wow. She helps to manage the athletic training room, runs treatment on student athletes, and instructs the younger members on skills and procedures. As mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, and on behalf of our great City Commission, I want to thank Anya Fink for her extraordinary dedication and services. Anya? Anaya, I was just told. Congratulations. Okay, we're not done. We gotta give out some more. Let me see if I can pronounce this right. Among Barnwell? There you are. City of Pembroke Pines would like to recognize Amon Barnwell as the City of Pembroke Pines Extra Mile Hero. Amon is a Pembroke Pines Charter High School and is a charter high school student and has 1,032 hours volunteer. Amon has been given his time to the Pembroke Pines Charter Relay for Life Team, the Rho Kappa Honor Society, and Joshua's Heart Foundation Pantry. Amon is an active member of his temple community, including assistance with the youth program as an annual event honoring teachers. As a member of the City of Pembroke Pines, I want to congratulate you on behalf of the Commission. I'd like to thank Ahmad Burrell for their extraordinary dedication and services. Congratulations. Gladys Vasquez. City of Pembroke Pines would like to recognize Gladys Vasquez as the City of Pembroke Pines Extra Mile Hero. Gladys has been a member of the Carl Schechter Southwest Focal Point Community Center since 2011, when she retired from her position with the IT department for Miami-Dade County Schools. She was so appreciative of the classes and activities offered by the center, she immediately began to volunteer, assisting staff and other members with a wide range of tasks. Gladys is always available at a moment's notice and lovingly rolls up her sleeves to help even the most difficult projects. We are so lucky to have her sharing her warmth and kindness with us. On behalf of the City Commission, I would like to thank Gladys for her extraordinary dedication and service. Thank you so much. Would you like to say something? Would you say something? Say something? Sure. Oh, let's go.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be up here in front of the entire city and our honorable commission, so thank you so much. As I've said before, the city of Pembroke Pines has had a vision for the youth of the city for decades now to empower them to make sure that they are able to identify change, identify problem, and tackle those issues. So my heartfelt thank you to the mayor, vice mayor, entire commission for all that you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, Vice Mayor, I got, this one is what? Thank you. Dr. Susan Snyder. We'd like to present a certificate of recognition to Dr. Susan Snyder for receiving a Lifetime Educator Award from Story Tapestries. Wow. Dr. Susan Snyder. The City of Pembroke Pines would like to recognize Dr. Susan Snyder for receiving the Lifetime Educator Award from Story Tapestries for her lifetime work and contributions in the field of education. Dr. Snyder has been a thought leader in the realm of education since 1976. She has codified her understanding and experience in a learning approach called total learning. Today, you can access total learning digital resources in a customer-made app on Story Tapestries website, continuing Sue's legacy of sharing for meaningful and authentic experiences for every child. Congratulations. Hold it up.
Okay. I don't want this to roll off. It's protected. Hold it.
Yes.
Is that all right? 3 minutes? Is that what I get? It's less than 3 minutes,
Whatever you like.
I promise.
Okay.
Okay. Testing, testing. Can you hear? What do I do?
Just you were all right. It was fine.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So, dear family, my family is here, my granddaughters, they'll be up in a moment. Friends, a lot of friends here in the audience, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, hello. Community, thank you for this wonderful recognition. They say that no one is wise and wonderful unless they're 300 miles from home. There's evidence here tonight that I am indeed home. Neighbors and family have made my life so rich here over the past 8+ years. Yet, I am still connected across the country and world. I believe that children are our future. So I often ask what's important for children and us. When we see the beauty around us, we can also then see what is not beautiful. Or when we hear the sounds of nature, of song, of the cadence, when thoughts turn into poetry, we also then can recognize the sounds of degradation and destruction, bullying, and pain. When we receive or send gestures of welcome, love, and pride, conviction, we also learn the dances of defiance, hatred, and unbridled power. And when we hear and tell our stories, whether through pictures, music, dance, or words, we connect to our past, present thoughts, and vision for the future. We learn about ourselves and others and become a tapestry of community members. In education, the stuff, while essential, is not sufficient. It's just stuff. It is how teachers deliver the stuff that distinguishes lifetime educators. Whatever your relationship to children, parent, family, friends, even bullies, we all are teachers. We can teach children to recognize and choose the good and to problem solve in community to deal with the negatives. I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. You know this song. Let's keep on living it. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Let's take a picture.
Let's bring those little kiddos.
Yeah, bring up the little children. And family. Oh, look at that, Graham.
Sashi, stay here.
Put that around so that's in the picture.
Put this one out so it's in the picture. Let's get the name.
All right, great job. Thank you. Our next presentation, Mr. Sam, are you here? This is for an extra mile day. Whereas the city, that's not yours? I got the wrong one. Says Michael Sam. All right. This is the extra mile day. Whereas the city of Pembroke Pines is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas the city of Pembroke Pines is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas the city of Pembroke Pines is a community which chooses to shine a light and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas the city of Pembroke Pines acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 550 extra mile cities in America and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2023. Now, therefore, I, Frank Ciores, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2023 to be Extra Mile Day. I urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, or world a better place. Thank you all. I don't know what that was. There you go.
The Monarch Pledge Day. No items pulled, Mayor.
All right. How about items at the request of the public?
There were no items at the request of the public, but I did receive requests to speak on item 14, and that comes before commission.
Okay. Commission Auditor Report,
None, Mayor.
Appeals of Board of Adjustment decisions,
None, Mayor.
Announcement of Board and Committee appointments.
No announcements, Mayor.
Okay, let me just, I have to read this. I leave it over there. I leave it over there. Okay, I need help. So where is, our great, Christine Sorensen? I can't find that paper. Yep, I left it over there. Combined it with somebody. Oh, I got it. Thank you very much. The 25th Annual Art Music Fest in the Pines will be held this Saturday, November 4th, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, November 5th, 12 to 5, at the Charles F. Dodge City Center. The festival features electric artists from all over the country selling their artwork, a student art competition, free workshops at the Frank Art Gallery, live entertainment on the plaza, interactive performances, food trucks, and at Kids Art and Game Zone. In honor of Veterans Day, the city will be hosting its annual Veterans Day observance on Saturday, November 11th at noon at the Charles F. Dodge City Center, Memorial Park. Also, this year, we'll be adding the Honoring the Veterans Portrait Project exhibition, which will be on display during the Veterans Day ceremony. This curated exhibition features veterans from our community and highlights on how their diversity, heritage, and culture affect their military service and shaped who they are today. So we congratulate them. All right, how about appeals of the Board of Adjustment decisions?
No appeals, Mayor.
Announcement of Board and Committee appointments?
No announcements, Mayor.
All right, on the consent agenda, we've got items 1 through,
Mr. Mayor,
Well-
before we go to consent agenda, may I please make a statement?
about?
You.
Go ahead.
I mean, we have a number of folks here, and I think it's very important for everybody to recognize Mayor Ortis's 80th birthday was yesterday on Halloween. So we sang this earlier, right? So I just, for those that came in a little bit late, I think it's very important to recognize that not only have we been recognized as the happiest city in all of Florida, but we've also have the happiest mayor in all of Florida. So happy birthday, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Took a long time to get there. I appreciate it. All right, consent agenda items 1 through 12, what is your pleasure?
No polls.
Mr. Mayor, I have some polls.
Okay,
Number 5, number 6, and number 12.
5, 6, and 12. All right, any others? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
A motion by the Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Schwartz. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye? Opposed? I do have it. Item 5, Commissioner.
Mr. Mayor, if it's possible, can we take item 14 out of order?
Well, we're gonna do that.
Okay.
13, 14, and 17.
Mayor, item 14 is a standalone. 13, 17, and 18 are kind of together, and I'm just going to ask, because we have, with consent agenda, usually that does go for a while, and there's a whole lot of folks that are here that I think would probably like to have their item heard and decided, item 14.
Maybe, Mayor, what we could do is table the pulled items. and-
No, it's okay, we don't have to.
And have,
We don't have to
the regular
table.
agenda. No?
If that's your request to bring 14 forward, that's what we'll do.
Yes.
All right? City Clerk, we're going to item 14, please.
It'll be
You told me
it'll be
14.
13 first.
She told me 14.
14 is what I'm asking.
Stand there and be quiet.
14 is what I asked.
Then I want to pull 13.
Now it's gonna
first,
go with
please.
13 and 17, it's coming forward. I got it.
Well, it's a question of whether or not we're going to have an
Yes, I
applicant
understand.
wait
All right, go ahead.
for,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
Pleasure of the commission to pick up item number 14 first, and I'll be happy to read it if that's the direction of the commission.
that's what we're doing.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Item 14 for the record is a motion to pass proposed ordinance number 2023-07 on second and final reading. Proposed ordinance number 2023-07 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, amending Chapter 159 of the City Code of Ordinances to specifically create the, quote, Pembroke Shores Property Owners Association Neighborhood Improvement District, referred to herein as the district, by and through the creation of Section 159.02 of the city's Code of Ordinances entitled Duties and Responsibilities of the Safe Neighborhood Improvement Districts, to provide for the implementation of all neighborhood improvement districts, to create Section 159.03 entitled the Pembroke Shores Property Owners Association Neighborhood Improvement District, which provides for the establishment of the Pembroke Shores Property Owners Safe Neighborhood Improvement District, created pursuant to Section 163.508 of the Florida statutes, defines district boundaries, provides for the officers of Pembroke Shores Community Association, Inc., to be designated as the Board of Directors of the district, provides for the annual external audit, to provide for the authority to exercise all powers provided under Section 163.508 Florida statutes and Section 163.514 of the Florida statutes, providing for a municipal and public purpose, directing the city clerk to record a copy of this ordinance in the public records of Broward County, and to provide a copy to the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
So moved.
Mayor and Commission, number 14 on the floor for consideration. A public hearing is required, and public comments are accepted. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Castillo, second by the Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Good, thank you, Mayor. First off, thank you all for being here. We do appreciate, not the first time that you all have been here. I'm very hopeful that this evening will be the last time that you all have to kind of be here. This certainly has been a task that has taken a lot of dips and curves and moves and changes, and finally it looks like it is coming to a resolution, I would hope, this evening. As I was looking through the very many pages of notes that I had on this whole issue, I want to make it very clear, and I have said this before, as an elected, and as the fact that I do not live in Pembroke Shores, I live across the way in Spring Valley, which I'm very happy with Spring Valley. I, as a person, was not a resident, and therefore I really didn't have, as a resident, that dog in the fight that you all had. But as an elected official, I clearly had a dog in the fight to make sure that what you all were asking for as a group, as a community, that you were getting what you were asking for, and that you were able to make those decisions on what you really wanted, because you continued to receive correct, factual, and current information in order to make your decisions by. This is a movement going forward that is kind of life-changing in a way, because what will be decided on is going to be in your community for a very long time, and therefore the decisions had to be made in the right way, in the right time frame, but most importantly, that all of you had the opportunity to be able to hear and analyze those facts that were given to you. And I thought that I saw Ms. Calhoun here. Is she? There she is. And so I just wanted to say thank you for, first off, for taking so much time to talk to me and to answer my questions. And as you all know, at the last meeting, which was back in September, correct? When you all were here, there were, again, a good number of questions that really I wasn't sure were being answered completely or correctly, and not through not wanting to do that, but the information just wasn't there yet. So what I had said to you all was that I would go back through like the notes that I had, the questions that were asked by you all, questions that were on the videos that I could watch of the commission meetings, and compile those. They're not my questions, they were your questions, and compile that and provide that to Ms. Calhoun for her to be able to go through and answer, and be able then one thing that I asked of you is that once we did that and you got the questions and you got the answers, that you would make those questions and answers available to all of the residents out there, and I believe that you did that. I believe that you did that, and therefore, you all were able to see the questions and you were able to see the answers that were provided by Ms. Calhoun and whoever else was working with you. I'm sure a lot. But so that was what I thought was my place in this, not as a resident, because I'm not a resident there, to have a vote on any of that. But I darn sure felt that as an elected official, when I sit up here, when we all sit up here and vote, our votes affect the entire city. And so we need to know what those communities want when we are actually voting on issues. So for me to be able to kind of compile those questions and provide them to you and then be able to get the answers back, I still had a couple that were a little questionable on if I truly understood, but I think I found what I was looking for. So I would have been back to you otherwise. And I just want to say to you all, as residents, thank you again for being so steadfast in what you all wanted to have happen and what you wanted for your community. And I think that's really the main words, is that it's your community, and the decisions that you make are what you're going to have to live with in your community and how you're going to deal with that. So, and I don't think I need to go into saying, you know, everybody wants a safe community and everybody wants a beautiful community and everybody wants their home values to stay high and increase. That kind of goes without saying. And you all were very clear about that safety was really your number one priority, safety and security out there. And so how you were able to get to that point where you all felt more confident in that happening in your community, I think is what you all are asking for. And, you know, it started out a good number of years ago, kind of on a crazy, I guess, kind of a crazy way that it kind of came about happening. But I think finally a solid solution has been found, one that works for, I think, everybody. I'm guessing everybody, because I'm not hearing much otherwise, other than you all waving, and I appreciate the waving part of it, you know, instead of the clapping and all that, so that's cool. But again, I just want to say thank you all, and you know, again, it was never my intent to stop this. It was my intent always just to make sure that you as residents were getting what you wanted to have, and that you were able to make those decisions because you were provided with correct current information. And I'm very proud that has happened, and I look forward to seeing my neighbor across the street, what you all end up doing and making in the community. I'd still like to be able, when you finally finish it, to maybe ride through and see what it looks like in there, but we'll talk about that another time. But again, congratulations to you all, and hopefully you will have success this evening. So thank you.
Mayor? Ms. Calhoun, we put the mic. Did you want to say something? I said, where it says speak. There you go. Oh, you had it.
See when the red light comes on?
I can do this.
There you go.
Good evening, Hope Calhoun, Land Use Council for Pembroke Shores. I'm present, prepared to make a presentation, answer questions, whatever the will is of the commission. As you can see, we have a room full of people, as we did last time, here to stand up and support. I'm not aware that anyone here is here to oppose. We have 15, I think, people signed up to speak in favor. I hear the waving behind me. And so again, happy to answer questions, happy to give full presentation, whatever it is the desire of the commission.
Mayor? Commissioner Castillo.
Thank you very much. I think tonight we're going to take the last step in a long journey. I think it was Sue Katz, God rest her soul, who I replaced, tried to replace, succeeded as District 4 Commissioner, who told me about the deal that was struck between the city and the developer for Pembroke Shores many, many years ago, which in a very odd way transformed the public road into a gated community. Whatever the reasons were for that was a long time ago. And for many, many years, you have lived with what's called in the industry a soft gate. That means, so it looks like a gate, but it's not quite a gate. You have to stop there, but you don't have to stop there. You're supposed to show ID, but you really don't have to, that kind of thing. Because the rule is still good public policy. Public roads, public access. Private roads, private access. Well, we're one vote away from making sure that these are private roads, private access, that you are the ones who will control it. And sometimes government governs best by just getting out of the way. And I want to thank your homeowner associations, past and present, for having dealt with this thorny issue. It has never been easy. You all have been to the HOA meetings. I've seen you all there. And this has been going on for a long, long time. But we're finally there. I want to commend the lawyers on both sides for using the law and making it a tool that we can use to solve problems and get to some better place. I expect, well, the first vote was 5-0, so I'm hoping that we get 5-0 tonight and that we're done with this and you can go, we can have a closing where these roads will go to you. And I want to commend all the hard work, Hope in particular.
Thank you.
All the work that you did, Sam, you and your staff, exemplary work, and let's go.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me just say it's heartening for a commission to see people that are in the community come out to the commission for what they want and strive for it. I really, really appreciate that, and thank you all for doing that. Now it's just me, but I think there's not a need to speak on this item unless I'm mistaken. So if somebody would like to just move it.
So moved.
I'd like to comment, if I could.
What's that?
I'd like to comment.
Oh, go ahead, comment.
Sometimes it's
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Leave it alone.
Thank you. Ms. Calhoun is the professional way that we exchange our pleasantries on live TV, but when she calls, it's Hope. And when we spoke end of March of this year, we talked about what the community wanted, and I told you what the community needed, and that was to get past this taxation thing, and it just was not going to sit well with a lot of people when it came to first reading. I want to thank the board and the community and Hope for working together to get this thing out of there, right? So I knew over 6 months ago it was going to be an obstacle. First reading, it was uncomfortable because some folks were hearing it for the first time, but we knew in advance that that was part of the process. I'm happy to support the item because it finally hit the right mark. Because when you know what the community wants from day one, you fight like hell for it. And so I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for taking the time out of your night tonight to be here. You got one heck of an attorney, and keep her around for a while, okay? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner, do you want to say anything?
I'm good.
All right. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you need to just formally do a couple things, if you will. You need to open up the public hearing should there be any on-the-record comments, just in case. The record requires it. It's a public hearing for a second reading of an ordinance.
Any comments? Okay, go ahead.
Second thing, Mr. Mayor, is the fact that if this motion is adopted by the commission, it will adopt the ordinance for final reading. The motion includes essentially directing administration and the commission to do all things required to effectuate the terms of the ordinance, which means the conveying of the roads and all those appurtenances as required by the code and as required by the statute. And the district becomes legally effective upon that conveyance, which will coordinate with the legal counsel for the association and legal counsel also for the to-be formed district. But that motion will include all those concepts and those legal requirements if approved by the mayor and commission. And we'll
Great.
coordinate that with council.
Great.
Thank you.
City Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Typo?
Very gladly, yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Absolutely, yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Hell yes.
Motion passes.
Well, thank you all.
Mr. Mayor, the number for the
Never.
record, the permanent number for everyone's records is number 2010. Thank you.
Ms. Hope?
Mayor, Commissioner, thank you very much for everything you did from December to now and before December. We appreciate your support throughout this process. It has not been easy, and my client has been tough on me, but we've gotten here, and thank you very much for all of that. And
Well
Sam
done.
in your office, thank you
Well,
very much.
congratulations.
Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break. Okay, everybody, if you could step outside, we'll continue our meeting.
Do you have one of the little flags or something? I'm like, no, I'll put it in my office.
What's up, sir? Hi, boss. Oh. All right, let's go ahead and start our meeting. I've been asked to move items 13, 17, and 18 forward. City Attorney, if you could put them on the record.
Mr. Mayor, back on the record.
Yes.
You've asked that we read into the record number 13 and begin at that level. Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
13 for the record is the second and final reading of an ordinance. It's a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 2023-03 on second and final reading, which includes Mayor and Commission a public hearing and comments of those from the public who chose to speak on the issue this evening. Proposed ordinance number 2023-03 is an ordinance of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, amending Chapter 155, the Land Development Code of the City of Pembroke Pines by amending Section 155.401 entitled Zoning Map to amend the city's zoning district map to rezone an approximate 5.2-acre parcel of land generally located south of Pines Boulevard and west to southwest 184th Avenue. Is more particularly described in Exhibit A from a B3 that's referred to as a general business to an R-TH, that's residential townhouse, with the allocation of 54 flexibility units, providing for codification, providing for conflict severability, and providing for an effective date. Item 13 on the floor for second and final public hearing and public comment. Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Number 13.
Thank you, City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor.
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second? I'll second the motion. Okay, Commissioner Good is going to second it. Discussion.
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
This ordinance is tied in with two other items this evening, Mayor, that you said we would be bringing 13, 17, and 18 sort of together because they do work together. This actual ordinance this evening is a rezoning of this piece of property from B3 General to RH, to RTH residential townhomes with allocation of 54 flexibilities. I want to make it clear that this rezoning also is only for the north end of the property. The south end is to remain agricultural in order to maintain the lake and to still be a buffer for, I believe, for the Estancia community, the community surrounding that. But I would like to ask Mr. Mealy to come forward if I could.
Mr. Mayor, if I may just interrupt for a moment, if you will. This is listed as a quasi-item. It is a rezoning. I'm sure Mr. Mealy, as counsel for the applicant, will want to waive his quasi-judicial rights to the extent possible so that comment can be made freely without further ado.
Thank you.
Turn on.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Dennis Mealy, 200 East Broward Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, will waive the quasi-judicial procedure.
Okay, so Mr. Mealy, you and I have had several discussions through the time on this particular issue, and one of the many questions that I asked you about this to make sure that I was a better understanding of what it actually was going to mean to happen. Was I asked also, because I know it's here in item 13, that we are talking about 54 units. And one of the questions that I asked you was if you would go back to your client and see if there was, if this got approved, if there would be if there could be a reduction in the number of units.
So I will give a little bit of a long answer, but I promise I'll get to the point. So the Tuscan Pines property, which is just next door, which we also built, is the exact same size as this property, 7.5 gross acres. On the Tuscan Pines property, we built 58 units. We have been proposing 54 units for this site, but if the commission would be comfortable with voting on the second reading tonight, we would agree to reduce it from 54 to 50 units, which means instead of needing 54 flex units, we would only need 50. And when you look at item 17, which is the plat, instead of the plat note saying 54 units, it would say 50. And then we would adjust the site plan, which has to go back to the Planning and Zoning Board after your action on the rezoning ordinance, and that would also then show 50.
Okay, so thank you for a little bit, but a little bit we do appreciate.
Thank
We
you.
do appreciate that. When we first talked about this, because this item had been on before and it was deferred, you know, and then brought back to us, this whole concept of this particular piece of property. And I think that I would like to ask Mr. Stam, if I could, to please come up. Because doing some of my asking of questions and some research and stuff that I did on my own about trying to understand a little bit more about what this would mean out there, I found in my research that there was a bill that was passed in Tallahassee this past year, became effective July 1 of this year. And I spoke with Mr. Stam about that quite a little bit, actually. And it's called the Live Local bill that was put out there. And when I was hearing, when I spoke with other electeds, you know, in our area, other cities in our area that are already being affected by this Live Local, I wanted to dig into that certainly a little bit more. So, Mr. Stam, for tonight, could you give kind of a little bit of a brief as to what this Live Local means, what it is, and then how it affects all of us now?
Mike Stam, Assistant City Manager and Director of Planning and Economic Development. The Live Local Act is a bill that was passed by the Senate, went into effect July 1, as you referenced, and it's really a bill for affordable housing. The general impetus of the bill is they wanted to get, for lack of a better term, government out of the way. So if a project meets certain criteria, i.e. meets the code, generally they can build what meets the code. So what does that mean? Commercial properties, vacant commercial, vacant industrial, developers can submit a site plan with just administrative approval, no public hearings, no rezonings. Generally speaking, just staff process to get a site plan approved.
No commission involvement.
No commission involvement, no HOA requirements, really just staff approval. And staff has to review it to see if it meets the code as written. So for example, does it meet the proper setbacks? Does it meet the building height? Does it meet the parking requirements, open space, those types of things? One of the provisions of the bill is that you don't need to get density approved. So what you're doing tonight with the agenda item is approving density by assigning the flex units. With the Live Local Act, you don't need to get that approval done. They can just ask for it as long as it meets code. The Live Local Act also caps height on the zoning district. So in this particular zoning district, the height is B3. The zoning district allows 100 feet. I'm not suggesting that a 100-foot tall building can meet here because there's other regulations that may come into play, but theoretically, 100 feet. Or the tallest building within a distance of the site.
And that would be?
Right now, the tallest building that we know of within this, within the distance about a mile is the concrete batch factory at 172. We believe that's the tallest building in the area. There are also 3- and 4-story buildings nearby.
How tall is that?
We haven't done the formal measurement. Should we get an application, formal application, we'll do that analysis as part of it. I haven't gone, you know, I'd have to go back and look through all the site plans and get all those details. It is a pretty tall building, though.
4 or 5 stories at least.
At least. The other thing about the Live Local Act is that there's requirements of the city. We have to, and I emailed all the commission when we met the thresholds that are there, we have to advertise any city property that be available for affordable housing. We have to put it up on our website. We had to create a web page describing the Live Local Act. There's links to the Senate bill on there, and there's also links to Florida Housing where the Live Local Act is specifically discussed. The other part of the Live Local Act is that the developer can apply for tax abatement.
And what does that exactly mean then?
They could apply to have their ad valorem taxes abated. They wouldn't have to pay ad valorem taxes,
So the
percentages.
city would be out some.
Potentially, correct.
Okay.
And again, this is happening kind of fast and furious. This went into effect July 1. As staff, we've been attending many meetings. In fact, my staff attended a meeting today at the Ann Nature Center discussing the Live Local Act. We know of other cities that are getting applications. The day after the application passed, or the statute passed, we started getting public records requests about all available vacant commercial and industrial property in the city.
Vacant meaning there's no structure on it, or it was a structure and it's not.
Vacant being no structure, that was the first thing, because what we were told by many of the attorneys that were asking for this information for their clients is vacant is obviously faster to build as opposed to doing a redevelopment situation. But then the second level of requests that we started to receive were for abandoned, bypassed commercial and industrial properties. We've been getting inquiries ever since. In fact, there's a public records request in the system right now for our inventory list as we speak. And we just sent the response this morning. But the Live Local Act, I believe City Attorney's Office, back in April, after it passed and was waiting for distribution, sent out a memo to the commission. Something that was discussed a lot with our Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. I think Quentin gave a presentation about the Live Local Act with our Affordable Housing Committee. It's something that's really here. And if you've been following the news, the Clevelander down on South Beach, the developer was not getting something from the city, so he threatened to use the Live Local Act to build affordable housing on South Beach. My colleagues down in the city of Doral, the day the bill passed, had 2 applications for multi-story housing right next to a single-family housing community. So the Live Local Act is really an affordable housing bill designed to expedite the process for affordable housing.
So, okay, thank you. So let's say that a developer came in, put in an application, and the application has certain requirements to it, obviously, but that application goes to you and your staff for review.
It would go to our Development Review Committee, which is the Planning Department, the Zoning Department, which is all part of the same, Landscape, Engineering, South Broward Drainage District. They'd have to meet the codes that are on the books.
So it has to still meet the codes.
Correct.
But then at that point where normally it would come to commission for.
Typically, it would go to the Planning and Zoning Board first.
Right, well, you mentioned that, so I'm talking, after that, okay. So that's not it, and it won't come to commission. We, as electeds up here, our hands are tied, if I understand correctly, that we have no say-so on, we like it, we don't like, we have no vote. We have nothing, it bypasses us completely.
Correct. Typically, when a property changes from residential to commercial or commercial to residential, we go through a rezoning or a land use. So there's a series of public hearings for each of those. Land use and zoning are both done by ordinance. Then we go through a platting process and then a site plan process and then a building permit process.
So, okay, and so what it seems like though is the maybe, and I'm going to be nice about this part of it because I don't know for sure, but I would think that the original Tallahassee thought was, we all know, and we talk about this here all the time, that everybody needs more affordable housing. That goes without saying. But it seems like in this particular case that, and I think you mentioned it, was mentioned a little bit earlier, you know, folks just want government out of the way. And I think this is like a prime example of government out of the way, because we have no say so. We can't do much of anything with it. When I asked you about some of the what I read in the Live Local is that they have to be whatever goes still has to be compatible with the area. I mean, there has to be something that's compatible.
Well, so compatible is a tough word.
Yeah, but that's the word they used.
Yeah, but
it means a lot of things.
It can, and that's where the challenge comes in, and that's where it has to be compatible with the zoning code.
Right. So when I asked you about the part in there about the building height and the units and all that, tell me if I'm correct, was that you did reference the mile distance, about a mile distance, I think it was, from there, and that would have been,
Or the zoning code.
right, and that would have been the concrete building.
Yep.
And the height of that, I believe when we were talking, you thought was around 5 stories. So what I got from our conversation was that if this live local was used by a developer, they could perhaps, if it's 5 stories, go 5 stories. In the city, we can't go over 6 because that's our ordinance, but I don't know if that, I don't think this even holds true for that either.
So, Commissioner, we do have buildings, so it's funny, I talk to my students about this all the time. So when we use the word stories, that's kind of like a loaded term, right? Because a story could be 20 feet.
Right. We learned that with Memorial Code.
Yeah, so, yes.
We did.
So our zoning code allows up to 100 feet in most situations. Some of our plan districts allow us to go a little bit higher. We do have some buildings that are taller. So the Memorial West is a little bit taller.
Right.
With their elevator shafts and their other items that are at the top.
Well, I think it was more medical equipment, the radiation and that kind of stuff,
Yep.
the equipment.
Because some of those floors were significantly hollow.
So the other thing I think that when we were talking, I'm looking at my notes again, that you said that there would be in this live local on this property, it could be up to 175 units built on that property?
So what happens with live local is that people start to speculate what we can build on certain properties. If the commission remembers, the property that was built south of Memorial, Pembroke, it was a 10-acre piece of property with a 2-acre lake. If you guys remember, it's on Pasadena Boulevard and University Drive. That has surface parking. That project has 206 units on it. This property is a little bit smaller. We've seen a preliminary plan where they're asking for about 5 stories and 175 units. Obviously, we would still have to review that against.
But the live local also gives them parking garage.
Well, live local, so what the live local does with the tax abatement, it allows them to put money into the project and then keep a percentage as affordable.
Okay. So there was another option in looking through this live local, which would be if the property, if the property remained as commercial zoning on it. And if I remember correctly, what you told me on that is if that was a scenario that happened, that it would allow for 77,500 square feet of office space and 2,500 square feet of restaurant.
That is correct. That is the current plat on the property.
And so that could happen,
that can happen by right.
That could happen right away.
That could happen by right, correct.
Okay.
Now, Commissioner, Vice Mayor, excuse me, if a commercial project were to come in, they would still have to go through the process. It doesn't have to qualify for live local. The live local would qualify only on the affordable housing project.
Right, and that was the next point I wanted to ask you, was that this live local, there's a requirement, and if you'll explain that again on the 40% and.
Yeah, so let's use a nice round number, 100. Let's say they came in and they wanted to build 100 units. 40% of those units, so 40 of those units would have to remain affordable. The rest could remain market rate. That's one of the requirements within the live local plan. And there's other requirements that the developer, before they submitted the application, will have to do an analysis of. We've done the preliminary analysis. About 6% of our property in the city is commercial and or industrial, just under, and depending on the way you look at it, could be up to 10%. So because of that, there's other provisions that they would have to put on the property to make it work. But I'm pretty confident that we can definitely have well over 100 units on this property.
I would think, I mean, if you're going to do the live local and use the options that it's giving you, you would certainly look to a number similar to that or even or more if it could be. Okay, so I think you've answered my questions. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Schwartz?
Mr. Stam?
Uh-oh, don't go away.
Yes, okay. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very thoughtful questions from the Vice Mayor. Let me continue. Are there any requirements under the Live Local that require off-site improvement around the surrounding area, such as maybe road improvements, safety improvements, traffic mitigation? Is there anything in the law that elected bodies have any control to get done?
So if I may, Commissioner, I'm going to speak in context to this project. As part of this project, the developer met with the homeowners associations that were nearby, and they asked for certain traffic improvements. Currently today, if you want to go to Tuscan Pines, the existing townhome community that Mr. Mealy referenced with the 58 units, you've got to make a U-turn at 186th. One of the things Estancia specifically asked for was to reduce those U-turns by allowing a left turn in from Pines Boulevard into the site. The developer had to go to FDOT to get that approval, but they were doing it to make the association and the neighbors happy. I am not aware of any provision of Live Local that would require the same type of process. So that's the easiest way for me to describe it. The developer is coming in to ask you for a change. They're asking you to change from commercial to residential uses. And as part of that change, they met with the association, and that's one of the things that the associations wanted to facilitate this change.
Mr. Stam, how long have you been the Director of Planning and Zoning?
Since 2014, so 9 years.
It's been that long, huh?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall a time where a public safety improvement, road improvement for a project was ever denied by this commission in your 9 years of being a director?
So that's a tough question. There's nothing comes to mind. We've often taken different approaches. When I first became director, very often we would ask the developer to bond projects. I know Commissioner Good has talked about this a lot, the traffic light at 7th. The traffic warrants were never there, so therefore we didn't get the improvement. My course of action has been asking the developer to put their money where their mouth is and ask the developer to put the money aside. So we were able to obtain funds to make those improvements. We got traffic mitigation funds for the Pasadena project, for example, for the 7th Street project for the traffic light, which engineering's working on, also for the Lennar project out by the post office. So I think we've taken different approaches when it comes to traffic problems and situations. I also believe that some of our homeowners associations have tried to work on some of these traffic problems themselves. I believe Grand Palms worked with the developer of the post office property for some relief down on Pembroke Road. So I think we've taken a different approach. A lot of times, because sometimes the warrants don't always justify it, and we got to get to a place where the traffic improvement can be made.
So that's where government actually assists in solution-driven safety items.
We try.
So Live Local doesn't give us, it like takes the tool out of the toolbox for us. We couldn't even ask an applicant, please work with an association, please contact DOT, please work with the county for a traffic study. We don't have that option as elected officials under Live Local. Is that my understanding?
It's my understanding that if it's in the code today, I can ask for it. If it's not in the code, I can't. So can I ask for a traffic study? Yes. But how far I can take that traffic study, I'm not sure. And I'm being intentionally vague because it hasn't been tested in the city yet. And in all fairness, I don't have a provision in my code to make an improvement that's maybe not necessarily required, but being requested.
Mr. Stam, last question. We had a traffic study, and Vice Mayor,
The traffic master plan.
She had brought forward she championed that effort. So you were a part of that consult. They
Yes, sir.
sat down with you, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall seeing the heat map of all the accidents along Pines Boulevard?
I do.
And 186 was highlighted pretty well, like they're getting smushed a lot, right?
There are a lot of traffic accidents in that area. I believe Mr. Mealy has something in his presentation about some of those incidents.
All right, Mike, I'm sorry, Mr. Stan, you've been very helpful this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Further discussion? All right, Mr. Mealy, do you have any comment? Again, Dennis Mealy, 200 East Broward Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, on behalf of the applicant. I know that we have representatives of the Board of Directors of the Tuscan Pines Homeowners Association and the Estancia Homeowners Association here this evening. We've worked very closely with both of them on the traffic improvement that Mr. Stam described,
and also some internal issues as well between the associations that we've worked out. So I know they're here to lend their support. Other than that, I'll just be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay. City Clerk, call a roll, please.
Mr. Mayor, just to be clear, if you may, Mayor, this is a second reading and does require opening of a public hearing to the extent possible.
Okay, public hearing open. You want to speak? Sir?
Yes, sir. Oh, Mr. Scott Barnett.
Oh, I don't know that. Thank you.
So, basically, I'm a little bit worried about this because now...
Can you just tell the record who you are?
Scott Barnett, 19346 Southwest 5th Street. I'm a little worried about this Live Local Act because now, is this every development now? You're going to put this over our head? This is about leadership of you all, to have backbone to stand up to this kind of stuff. You know, that's what we're counting on. And anyways, I do have comments. This proposed zoning change presents a short-sighted approach towards the developmental goals of this city. As a resident of Estancia, I'm frustrated that the commission may be under the impression that we as a community, specifically in Estancia, somehow support this proposed townhome project. At a previous meeting in June, one of our board members indicated he was speaking for our community. He was not. While Mr. Goenaga has the right to speak for himself, and I have respect for Mr. Goenaga, his testimony does not reflect our wishes. Commissioner Seipel reached out to our HOA president, who expressed surprise that Mr. Goenaga was somehow supporting the townhome development itself. And the letter that was created in Mr. Goenaga's name was purposely intended to address traffic issues only. There's two issues here, traffic and the townhomes. Somehow, all of a sudden, you're trying to build this up as a traffic thing to give the townhomes to this developer. But these are two different issues. We appreciate Commissioner Seipel's no vote at the previous meeting. And as you've shown your support before, Commissioner Seipel, against townhome developments, and you stood with us on the corners with signs that said, no more townhomes, we hope you do the same now. We're looking forward to that. Also, I thank Commissioner Good for always being a staunch defender of the environmental factors in this community, and we appreciate your no vote as well. The only thing our board members talked about amongst themselves was traffic mitigation. This was never presented to the community, nor was there any formal board meeting with the other board members. And I just talked to Mr. Goenaga, and we were just talking about there haven't been board meetings in our community for months and months, and we never heard about any of this. So it has not been presented to us. There is a plan by this developer to create a new ingress into this property that will be connected to the commercial area adjoining it. This in itself presents a clear and present danger to our community, as pedestrians can simply walk into this proposed community and perpetrate acts of vandalism that our community is dealing with. Just yesterday, during Halloween, I came upon two teenagers peering into my wife's car. This community has had too many incidents of petty acts of vandalism, and by opening up our communities to this threat from adjoining properties, we will continue to see a rise in these crimes. Years ago, I myself was even attacked by teenagers who came into our community with pellet guns. Also, while creating the new ingress would seem to alleviate U-turns at 186, does it not create more U-turns at the new ingress? And now will we have two potential opportunities? Now you have two U-turns going onto Pines in that area. I mean, that's just poor traffic planning. Pines Boulevard has enough problems. We're in this situation because the city refuses to address the ongoing traffic issues and is now creating more problems. I don't care about car counts or engineering studies, because they don't take into account the risk of these dangerous U-turns into traffic. Plus, we also have cars bolting across Pines Boulevard to get to the turn lane. This will only continue. Even from this new development, they'll bolt across Pines Boulevard. The other factor here is a commitment by this commission to create more viable developments that will fall in line with the economic development proposal presented by Planning Director Michael Stam. I like the plan. But if we continue to allow developers to stamp poorly planned townhomes in valuable areas, there'll be nothing left for the city to develop in a meaningful way. This vote will be recorded.
Thank you, Mr. Vice.
And more important, it will be remembered. And tonight, you will vote tonight, we will vote in March. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead.
And I only asked to speak because my name was brought up again.
No.
Well, no, but I have a comment.
The gentleman's going to speak first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I thought you.
Let somebody speak. Good evening. You gotta put your mic on, please.
Push the button.
Right there?
You're on.
Okay, I don't have a written speech.
Sir, tell us what your name is for the record, if you can.
My name is Alfredo J. Goenaga.
Thank you,
I am
sir.
one of the directors of Estancia. I don't have a written speech, but I'll stick to the point because a lot of things were just said that were just not true. Okay, and I'm not here to back up anybody, to make up stories. I've been here 3 times already. Originally, I got a letter from our board president. My view and our stance here has not changed a bit. We're not speaking for the entire Estancia. All we're doing here, me, representing the board, is to ensure that we get the traffic enhancements and corrections that we were promised when the first Tuscan Pines area was built. We're not here to vote on who goes there or make any opinions on any of that. We want traffic enhancements that are needed, and that's what I've been saying here since day one. As far as our board meetings, it has been discussed. It may or may not be in the minutes, which is what I just told the gentleman. I'm sorry, I don't even know his name, but Scott Barnett. But he mentioned to me that there was a board member that said that nothing of this has ever been discussed. I'll find out about that because we have emails that we have discussed it. But that's not here to resolve. What I'm here to say is that I got a letter again from our president because the last 3 letters have been questioned. I've had to go to homeowners' homes and clear my name because I've been told that I've been here saying stuff that I shouldn't have been saying. When we played back the videos of all these recordings, and it wasn't what was said to these homeowners. So I'm not just trying to make a point here and getting something done to better the traffic. I'm trying to almost clear my name of things that are being said and done that are irrelevant to this whole process. To get to an end result, you don't have to create smoke or you don't have to spread misinformation. You just got to stick to the facts. The facts are that from day one, with the first letter that I had, I was authorized by the board president, George Mirabal, and I got another updated letter on September 11th. This is the 3rd format because obviously people haven't liked the first 3. And I'm just saying we need the traffic enhancements. Not only just these that are being put on these plans, but others that are part of our whole traffic improvement.
We got it.
I was a victim in an accident there. We have had 162 accidents in 22 months. I have the whole track of that. All right, so this is an area that whatever we do to improve it, as little as it may be, it'll be progress. This whole thing with that was discussed with affordable housing and all that stuff, I hear all of that, but I'm here focused on just this. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't want to create like I'm speaking for 1 million people or anything like that. Just trying to clear my name too, because a lot of stuff's getting said and spread that I'm not for. I don't do that. That's not what I practice.
Thank you.
So if anybody needs a copy of the letter,
Thank you very much.
would you like to have a copy of the letter?
Sure.
We have it. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Okay, I know there's one more person. Let me just remind you, you have 3 minutes. I didn't put anybody else on it, but that's our rule.
Mayor, when she's done, I'd like to follow up with Mike Stam because there was a point raised I need clarification on.
The vice mayor is next.
Okay, just whenever. I just want
to run this meeting. Go ahead.
You're doing a nice job.
You're on.
Hi, Susan.
Your name and address, please.
Susan Snyder, 730 Southwest 191st Avenue, Pembroke Pines. So here we are yet again. The developer's attorney has done his work, and the city's officials have sent it along to the commission with all the documentation that looks good enough on paper. And now you could vote yes, but some fundamentals have not changed, and ask that you vote no. The overbuilding, as what Malvina Reynolds noted a century ago, are little boxes made of ticky-tacky that all look just the same, has increased traffic, water and air degradation, and quality of life. If the city's touted economic plan values the limited green space, breathable air, carbon sequestration, and habitat for existing animals and plants, then this is the place to put a foot down and say no more building find the buildings that have already destroyed the natural environment and repurpose them. If that means changing industrial bathrooms to home fixtures, that's not impossible or even undesirable. It's just an excuse. A bribe to support affordable housing is not, in my humble opinion, ethical, nor is it sufficient to make a dent in the housing needs of those who truly need it. It's just business as usual. We see everywhere the supposed good intentions of leaders that are not held up to reality when the vote is taken. And we see when you'll stand with integrity in your vote. Make it count for our environment, our quality of life, and choosing initiatives that uphold the city's values rather than just good enough. I know there's another consideration now with the new federal, with the new state regulations that make it more complicated. But for now, say no. For those reasons, I ask you to say no.
Thank you.
Again. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to kind of respond back that there is, is this the difference between what Mr. Barnett said? One of his issues was, is it traffic or is it less density? Again, first off, I don't have to justify my vote. My vote is my vote because of my research on what I've done. When I looked at, and when I spoke with folks about what this whole new Live Local does, what it allows to happen, it is a very scary situation to be in. And this is something that passed July 1, was signed and became law July 1. And so we are when I say we, I'm talking about not just Pembroke Pines, but all around, are just starting to see the effects of what that is allowing to happen. And it's not good, folks. When I spoke with folks from Hallandale, when I spoke with folks from Sunrise, when I spoke with folks from other communities around that are receiving on a daily basis phone calls and applications to utilize this Live Local in their communities, they are they're scared. They are scared about what is happening. And like I said earlier, I think that originally, and I'm giving it a lot of good credit here, that the original thought process in Tallahassee of something like this was to be a way to really address affordable housing by making it a little easier for it to happen, I guess, if you will. But I think what ended up happening was just way too much. When there's going to be a development in our city, within our city boundaries, and none of the 5 of us sitting up here have any say-so, have any involvement whatsoever in what is going to take place there, that's a problem. That's a real problem. And as was stated this evening by Mr. Stam and what I read from the Live Local, I ask you all to go Google Live Local and see exactly what it is out there. When on this particular piece of property, there could be a 5-story building. There could even be a 6-story building, because we do allow that in the city, 6 stories. There could be this 170 some odd units that go in there. This stuff is reality that is happening. It is happening now. Hallandale Beach is in a twist about all of this, because pieces are being bought up all over the place in Hallandale Beach from folks that I spoke to out there. They're worried about this. So my position on this, and yes, I did vote before against, having this, but I didn't have Live Local that was looking in my face saying, wait a minute. And I know there was a comment that was made about, having a backbone. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not even going to address that, because that is so not any of us sitting up here. We go through a lot of very tough times and tough decisions. But when I have sitting in front of me this either 50 townhomes and whatever else goes on that, I'm not even going to get into that other part. I'm just going to talk about the townhomes, or the very real, and I don't scare easily, Mr. Barnett, I don't, but the very real possibility, because it is happening right now in areas around us, and I was very careful about checking that out, not just listening to hearsay. I mean, I spoke to people electeds that are in the midst of that happening in their communities right now. So to have sort of the sure thing of 54 townhomes that we have control over what and how they look, as opposed to this other, which were two other options. The one which was the 5 stories, 175 units, parking garage, all of that, or the commercial, which was the other that was discussed. You can just keep it as a commercial and have 77,500 square feet of office space. That's a lot, folks, with a 2,500 square feet of restaurant and all that brings in. Folks may say, oh, you know what, it'd be nice to have a restaurant out there. Well, maybe it would be, but that's not the point. The point is that we would have no control over any of that happening. We have no control of it. They just come and put what they want there. So when I place my vote tonight, I'm placing my vote on what I feel is a change because of what the legislature has done for us and how they have tied our hands. And I think in the best interest of my community, my city out there, I have to take a vote on what is more of a sure thing as opposed to something that is not going to be good for us should it happen, based upon what I see, what I hear, and the discussions that I've had with other communities where, in fact, this is really happening. It is really happening. I do have, if I could ask Mr. Mealy one more question here.
Quickly?
Okay? Yes, quickly. Mr. Mealy, as we said earlier, we had discussion, and I asked you about reducing the number, and 54 to 50 was, I'm happy for that. I would have wished for more, obviously, would have wished for more, and if that's still possible, I would say, please bring that forward. But one thing else and I didn't bring it up earlier, and I meant to, was should this pass this evening and you all start to do your thing out there, can you tonight say that your construction, the materials that are used, the way it's designed, all of that your client would look at being a more environmentally friendly process? And you and I talked about that a little bit earlier. So could you expand a little bit on what we talked about?
Sure. Yes.
Turn it on, please.
Yep, your mic. There's a piece of tape that kind of hides the button that you need to push. Anyway, yes, we do a number of different green building elements that we will incorporate here. We've even looked at other things that we can add. So we look at the plumbing fixtures we use, all of which are low flow to reduce water usage, super high efficiency air conditioning units to reduce the consumption of energy, air conditioning the home, all the programmable smart thermostats to do that same thing. Some of this stuff I don't even know what it means, but I'm told it's important. Blower door and duct leakage proficient items for air conditioning efficiency, high-performing building envelope, LED lighting, insulation higher than the amounts required by code, low VOC paints, caulkings, and sealants.
Tell me about the paints again?
Low VOC, the idea is to use paint, sealants, and caulking that don't generate fumes that are bad for you.
Okay.
So we do that. Construction material recycling is a big thing for us for all ferrous materials, aluminum, wood, gypsum, concrete, and masonry. And we segregate the materials so they can be reused and recycled. So there's a whole bunch of things we do in building these homes to make them green.
And you are saying that is what would happen. Should this pass tonight, and you go forward, that is what would happen out there.
That's correct. All the items I mentioned will be used on this project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mayor.
And just a procedural item I was asked to repeat very quickly. The motion, item 13 references 54 flex units, so if you were to approve it at 50, you would reduce that number. The plat note referenced 54 units, so if you were to reduce it to 50, then the plat would reflect that number.
And you're sure you can't go lower than that?
That's the best I can do with rebuilding driveways, removing driveways. If you want me to, I'll respond to the public comments, but if not, I'll leave it at that. Commissioner Schwartz.
Thank you. Mr. Milley, thank you. You're aware that I've been doing environmental testing now for almost 20 years. A VOC is a volatile organic compound, which means it stinks. So the blower door stuff that's more commercial, Mr. Stam, I have a question for you with respect to comp plan. The project is in line with the comp plan that the commission has voted on consistently for the last 10 years?
Mike Stam, Assistant City Manager and Director of Planning and Economic Development. Commissioner Schwartz, I'm going to say yes, and if you go to the agenda item, there's a list of policies that we're consistent with our comprehensive plan.
Right, and this commission has supported that without unwavering support, meaning that there hasn't been any change to what you've proposed for well over a decade. The last thing, and I'm not going to bring the police chief or our majors up here, based on the testimony that Mr. Gornaga came forward, Chief, there's an accident at 186 and Pines Boulevard every 3 days in this city, based on the 22 months and 162 incidents in 22 months. If there was anywhere else in the city that was having accidents and things falling out of the sky every 3 days, there would be outrage. How can we not support this project when we're providing thousands of drivers every single day the protection that they need? Now, I'm not sure about the order that FDOT would be involved in roadway improvement, but this live local thing isn't a veiled threat. This is state law. So if you're unhappy with live local, go to Tallahassee and vote them out. Meanwhile, we are stuck. We are stuck with this siege on home rule authority. So there's lots of things that local governments would like to do. And if we do it, the governor removes us, puts us in jail, fines us, takes our rights to have an attorney. So we can certainly have that debate. But that debate is in November when those folks are on the ballot. Meanwhile, we have, Broward County Commission, and every municipality in Broward County has live local applications, requests. I'm not going to ask Mr. Mealy how many cities he's gone to, but I think, besides Hollandale, I think Coconut Creek is dealing with some things. We have Deerfield Beach dealing with some things. These are real things. How real? It's all open on the internet. It's called an agenda. Take a look. The applications are there and they're dealing with it. The fact that we're getting a unit reduction on second reading, I appreciate that. I think sustainable building materials and being green is something that the city has promoted. It's a part of our code. It's part of our green plan. You can't say no to this. Under the circumstances, you cannot say no to this application. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And let me close the public hearing. City Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Mayor, if I can quickly just put something on the record in the context of before you vote. Vice Mayor Seipel referred to a memorandum which she and I have had some conversation about in the recent past. I want to republish that into the record regarding Live Local so that the commission can be made aware of it yet again, and the public who may otherwise inquire regarding your limitations and your authority and the preemptions of state law. I'd like to make sure it's published in part of the record this evening. It's our interoffice correspondence number 2023-039, dated April 28th, 2023, that was referred to by Mr. Stam, and I've had conversations with many of you about this. Specifically, it's a 9-page memorandum which details at great length the length and breadth of the bill, contained in Chapter 166 of the Florida statutes. Senate Bill 102, just real quickly for the record, was adopted early in the session, as you may remember. It was a major issue for the Senate President. The document itself was over 100 pages long. We dichotomized it into a 9-page memo. The issues about which Mr. Stam speaks this evening are truthful, they're accurate, and they're consistent with our memo. And we in our office, in the City Attorney's Office, republished this memo to protect your interests in the context of your compliance with state law. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, before you ask for the roll call, I just want to make a quick comment here.
All right.
So I appreciate all the comments that were made tonight, particularly with regards to the Live Local, the timing of the introduction of this information. I'd rather it had been earlier than today. I can say, though, that there's a lot of nuances that are with this Live Local Act. I'm certain that, all these municipalities and or counties that are engaged with this are probably going to help define a little bit more about what the intent of this law was to be. I do anticipate that probably over the next couple of years that there will be more legislation that will probably better define this. And I'm not totally convinced about the Live Local Act at this point. I know this city, the Vice Mayor made reference very clearly. We're not afraid to take on hard issues. We've done that in the past several times, and we actually have quite a good track record to do that. The other thing I just wanted to make comment to was, the traffic concern. I mean, if there is a traffic concern out there, I mean, there are other avenues to follow. I mean, we can actually take this through the MPO and allow, that process to play out, where we would ask for funds to modify that particular location. So I did want to make these comments because I've been consistent in my voting on this, and I don't know that I've heard enough today to change my vote today, so thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Seipel?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
No.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
No.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The record, Mayor and Commission, the permanent number of this ordinance, number 13, is number 2011.
All right, City Attorney, can we go to item 17, please?
Yes, Mayor. Item 17 on the agenda, out of sequence for the authorized by the Mayor and Commission, is in fact a motion to adopt proposed resolution number 2023-R23, which is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, approving the Skyrise, that's S-K-Y-R-I-S-E, townhomes plat for the approximate 6.74 acre property generally located south of Pines Boulevard and west to southwest 184th Avenue, is more particularly described in Exhibit A, made a part of this resolution, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Discussion.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz, Commissioner Castillo.
Mr. Mealy, when do you anticipate that site plan will be coming in?
I believe that because this,
Can you?
I'm sorry. There we go. It's that pesky piece of tape. I believe that the site plan, because this is a standard zoning district, only goes to the Planning and Zoning Board. It's not a planned district, so it doesn't come here.
I'd like to have a meeting with you and the developer to talk about the exterior look of this.
Absolutely. We're happy to do so.
Please arrange for that.
I will make it, we will arrange it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, under the state statute, you need to give the public a right to be heard to the extent of possible.
Public hearing? Hearing none, we'll close it. City Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seipel?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Direct you, Mayor and Commission, the permanent number for that item is number 3842.
All right, let's bring up item 18, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. 18, which is connected to item 17 and the previous item number 14, excuse me. That is a motion to approve the municipal dedication agreement to the Skyrise Townhomes plat, the backup of which is in the Green Book and also published online. It is consistent with the previous items under consideration and taken out of sequence. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
So moved.
18.
Moved by Commissioner Castillo, second by the Vice Mayor. Discussion. Hearing none, call a roll.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passed.
So for the record, Mayor and Commission, 13, 17, and 18 as a triumvirate have been approved for the record with the conditions set forth by the Mayor and Commission. Thank you.
All right, back on to item 5 now. Commissioner Good's poll.
Point of order, Mayor.
Commissioner Castillo?
Did we vote on to approve the rest of the consent agenda?
Not yet, Commissioner.
Not yet.
To the Mayor.
Because there was a motion to move forward.
So do you want to entertain that vote? I'm happy to make the motion on the non-polled items.
All right, second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, Commissioner Good, item 5.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 5 is motion to approve the First Amendment to the agreement with Panzarella Waste and Recycling Services for IFB number PSUT 2203, removal and disposal of grit and screenings in amount not to exceed the limits of the budget as may be amended, subject to annual mutually agreed upon rate adjustments based on CPI.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Castillo. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I guess my concern on number 5 and actually number 6, I have a similar concern, and it is in regards to the language that speaks to in an amount not to exceed the limits of the budget as may be amended. And so there's no reference to what is the actual amount that we're agreeing to in this First Amendment. And then when you speak to the limits of the budget, I'm not quite certain what that means, the limit of the budget. And then you take it another step further when it says as may be amended, which I'm not quite certain about. So I'm not in disagreement with the item in terms of what is the intent. I'm just concerned about how we are representing this. To me, it almost sounds like we're giving an open checkbook to staff to conduct business. And so we do budgets, and we are, we got procurement codes that, require things to come before us. At least we're aware of what's happening. And I'm a little concerned at the way this is written. We might miss that opportunity. So one of the things, I know that in the background or in the backup detail, we speak to, what is the amount, but typically when we approve contracts and amendments to contracts, we actually agree to a limit before it comes back to us. So my concern is that that this language, I would like to ask my colleagues to consider that we modify it such that it speaks to exactly what it is that we're looking for, not just a reference to exceeding a budget amount, which we don't know what that is.
Point of clarification.
Go ahead, Commissioner Schwartz.
If the clerk can pull up the backup online, it's just one page. It's actually item 2 of the back, 1 and 2 of the backup. I think that might satisfy Commissioner Good. That's the contract. It's the online, not the number 2 of the attachments, just the actual item. Just clicking that. Or if you want to share my screen, I can make that work too.
All right.
Yeah, just scroll down there. There you go, Madam Clerk. Keep going. Open up the hyperlink, full text, and then scroll down to number 1 and 2. Under 1, it says 164,000. not to exceed. Then you have the breakdown of 164,000. Then the financial impact, you scroll down, the financial impact increases over CPI is 177.4 plus CPI. Now, I would, I don't know at this point clarification, more of a diatribe, but I think I agree that the language in the main body may get cleaned up, but I'm looking at 164,000 to 188 is the range. It's not going to go beyond that. So unless our director disagrees with my statement, I think I don't think there's a need to change the language by motion. I think it's clear on the record what we're trying to get done.
Mr. Bailey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I thank Commissioner Schwartz for pointing this out, because it's very important that you pointed it out, because on the next item, you'll understand why. So, yes, it looks like, and maybe we can have, you know, our Chief Financial Officer, you know, confirm the fact that this particular line item, or this budgeted line item, is actually limited to 177,000. Is that, can we have that confirmation, please?
Okay. Somebody want to confirm that? Oh, Ms. Young is there.
And I'm sorry to ask you up. I understand that you have a bit of a conflict.
Lisa Chong, Assistant City Manager, Finance Director. Evening. Yes, for that particular line item, the budget is $177,491.
And that amount is 100% assigned to this contract.
Yes, based on the description of the object code, it's 100% assigned.
And can we have the utility director make confirmation of that as well? That this is 100% assigned to the contract that we're being asked to amend?
So it's correct that the budget amount for this service is to be used for this contract.
Okay, so so thank you for that. So that makes it easy, sort of, when you assign it to a line item that is specific to a contract, which is very helpful. However, I'm still a little bit concerned about the language that says limits to the budget as may be amended. So we typically don't see amended budgets until after they're amended. So essentially what would happen is we're giving authorization to exceed a budgeted line item, and we won't be able to approve it until sometime later, which is typically in the following year when we do a budget amendment. So I'm really not comfortable with that. And all I'm asking is that we just modify the language to say not to exceed whatever the dollar amount is. And that's simple as that. So I would like to make that a motion, or to amend the language such that we strike exceed the limits of the budget may be amended to something that speaks to not to exceed the actual amount of what we are making the contract amendment for.
Okay, is there a second to the amendment?
Second, I believe the amount is 170.
So what's the amount you're talking about?
Hold on. Commissioner Castillo has seconded the motion. So, City Clerk, would you repeat the motion, the amendment? Not to exceed the limits and what they should.
Not to exceed the limits of the budgeted line item.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Asking that we modify.
Mr. Mayor, if I may briefly.
City Attorney?
The clarifying motion is to simply to revise item number 5 to reflect specifically the number in the actual motion itself, and as also defined by the financial impact analysis provided for in the agenda backup, which is not in the physical agenda itself, it's in the backup.
Okay.
So that motion needs to embrace specifically the financial impact analysis, the financial impact detail that was referred to.
Mayor?
Commissioner, do you have any add-on to that?
No, I agreed. It states that it's 177,400 with the annual CPI increases allowed by the contract.
Okay.
Point of clarification.
Commissioner Castillo, what's your clarification?
I believe the budget director said 177,491.
Ms. Chung?
Yeah, the backup.
So I think,
You can do it from there.
we're gonna do, if that's what we're gonna do, we should do 177,491.
Oh, let me just double check the budget in a minute. I have it here. That's correct, Commissioner, that's the exact numbers in the budget at the moment.
Okay, point of clarification, well, right?
So that would be the amendment to include that line, not to exceed that.
Further
number.
discussion on the amendment.
In the motion, Mr. Mayor.
What's that?
It's in the motion as described by the commissioner.
But there's an amendment to the motion.
Correct.
That's what I wanted to vote on.
Who's up first?
City Clerk? Go ahead.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And now, City Attorney, about the amendment.
The motion as amended with the
Motion
language
as amended.
specific to the numbers that were described on the record by both the finance director and by the mayor and commission.
No, we already have that, right?
We already have
City
a
Clerk, go ahead.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you all very much. Item 6, City Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So motion to approve the purchase of quicklime on an as-needed basis from El Hoist North America of Alabama LLC, utilizing the Southeast Florida Governmental Cooperative Purchasing Group co-op bid number 2336B, and an amount not to exceed the limit of the budget as may be amended pursuant to section 35.18, parent C, parent 6 of the city's code of ordinance.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So again, this is very similar, only this time there's a slight difference to this here. When we talk about what the amount of the expenditure here is, it's $1.5 million plus dollars. And and there's a reference to a line item that speaks to chemicals, operating chemicals. Can we be advised what is the dollar amount of that line item for chemical operating chemicals? What is the total amount for that budgeted line item?
Lisa Chong, Assistant City Manager, Finance Director. That line item currently is budgeted at, and currently meaning fiscal 2024, $2,226,348.
Okay. So this item here then is, the line item is budgeted for $2+ million. We're asking for a $1.5 million cost, which means that probably other things are included in the chemical line item. But the way that this reads, it allows the utilization of funds up to $2-point-something million, which is not what the intention was. So again, then of course with the amended language again, but this one here is a little bit different. You have multiple products that are being purchased in this line item, and the way that this, or vendors, right? And the way it's read, it's like you can consume the entire line item. So again, I would like to make a motion to amend the language to
Select the backup.
to limit the procurement to $1.564325 million.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody appreciate it. All right, we are now going on
Do we want to vote on?
On the as amended.
On the item.
Oh, we did, on the item, I apologize. City Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Here,
Motion
yes.
Item 12, Mayor.
Item 12, who pulled that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Good.
What's that?
Yes.
Tom did.
You, Commissioner Good, go ahead.
So motion to authorize the city to utilize the state of Florida's mobile communication services contract with T-Mobile USA Inc. for broadband data and cellular phone service for the police department's patrol officers for the beginning period November 1, 2023 through October 31, 2028 for a monthly unit cost of $20.23 per air card and $21.53 per cellular phone. First year annual cost of $149,000, $123.98 pursuant to section 35.18C5 of the City Code of Ordinance.
Second.
All right, motion and second, discussion.
Yes, if I may have somebody representing the police department.
Police Department, Chief, is that you?
Thank you, Chief.
Kip Schimmino, Police Chief.
Thank you. I want to say, kudos to your staff for finding, more cost-effective solutions, particularly for your communications and things like that. I did ask some questions, and I did receive responses from you or from your staff. All I want to do is, I'm just asking my colleagues to consider a little bit of a change in some of the language here and what we're actually approving. So one of the things was that, this item is making specific reference to the police department patrol officers. And in that question I asked was how many patrol officers we have, and, which was basically relevant to the number of phones and air cards we were getting. And in that response was basically, this is really for the PD department, right?
Correct.
Whether it be the phones or the air cards and how many there are. So I'm good with that. I just like for that to be pointed out, that this is not just for patrol officers, this is for the PD department. And the secondary thing that I just want to make reference to is that the item speaks specific to unit costs that are relevant to what this item is. And so there's a unit cost for the phone, there's a unit cost for the air card, but the absence of the unit cost for the security of the phones was not included. So what I'd like to do to ask my colleagues here is to consider just a little bit of the change in the language of what we're actually approving. Now, I know I did speak to the attorney a little bit, and if he may be able to assist me with what that language would be, I would appreciate that.
City Attorney?
Yeah, Mayor Commissioner, if you can, the item, it's actually several-fold. It relates to the application of the item to across the board, not just to patrol, but across the board, that all officers that are going to be having the use of the system.
Correct.
So the issue with patrol officers, the motion may just simply include the entire department as applicable. And the second part of which is that if there's a breakdown that can be made on the record for the item that was referred to by the commissioner, that also would be useful in the context of this motion, if it can be added. Correct, Commissioner Good?
Yes, so I'd like to make the motion that we add the additional language as referenced by the city attorney, where we would just make, make reference to the fact that this is for the PD department, as well as add the additional language for the unit cost for the security of the phones. So that would be my motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Castillo. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Chief. Item 14, City Clerk. City Attorney. The age is starting to catch up to me.
14, we've done 14, Mayor, so actually we did 14, we're on 15, if you wouldn't mind, Mayor.
15, yes, please.
15 it is. 15, for the record, is a motion to pass proposed ordinance number 2023-14 on second and final review. It is the annually required true-up with regard to our budget. The city's budget number 15 says proposed ordinance number 2023-14 is an ordinance to the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, amending ordinance number 1997, providing for an amended budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 for the City of Pembroke Pines, Broward County, Florida, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date. Item 15 on the floor for consideration and public hearing as well, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Castillo, second by the Vice Mayor. Discussion? Public, anybody comment? Close the public hearing. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel? Yes. Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
If the record, Mayor and Commissioner, the permanent number as required by state law is number 2012 for the benefit of the Department of Revenue. Thank you.
Item 16, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Number 16 is a motion to pass proposed ordinance number 2023-15 on first reading. It is proposed ordinance number 2023-15, an ordinance of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, approving the franchise agreement with Planet T, that's T as in T, Uniforms Incorporated, to provide school uniforms for the Pembroke Pines Charter Schools, which is attached here to as Exhibit A, and incorporated herein by reference, and authorizing the City Manager of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, to execute the agreement with Planet T Uniforms Incorporated, all consistent with the provisions of Section 3.12 of the Charter of the City of Pembroke Pines, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and finally providing for an effective date. First reading, item number 16 on the floor for consideration. 16.
All right, discussion? Call a roll, please. Oh, I didn't have a motion. I need a motion. Motion by the Vice Mayor. Second by Mr. Good. Discussion? Call a roll, please.
Vice Mayor Seipel?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
The record, Mayor and Commission, this will be considered as an item for public review in these very chambers on December the 6th of 2023.
Thank you. The next item, I can't make the National League of Cities item.
Vice
So-
Mayor?
So,
I will.
Vice Mayor, are you,
was I talking?
no, I wasn't sure.
Oh, you weren't talking? Let me know a little louder.
I wasn't sure if you were talking.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, gentlemen. All right, like I was trying to say, I can't make this meeting. I'd like to appoint Commissioner Good to take my place.
Second.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to go?
No, I just want to know what can we expect being brought back to us?
Whatever is being discussed at the meeting.
Do you have the agenda yet?
I don't have the agenda yet,
Okay.
but I'm sure he's gonna be very thorough in it.
No, I'm sure. It's just that we sometimes will, general comment, I'm happy to support you, Commissioner Dick. Generally speaking, I've seen a lot of elected officials go to these events and they don't bring anything back.
Have you ever seen me not bring anything back?
Did I say
What you're making,
Did I
I
say-
suppose, to other elected officials, which you shouldn't care about.
Did I say, well, it's taxpayer money, I should care about.
Well, I'm saying ours, bring it back.
Yeah,
That's what you should be
that's
concerned
all,
about.
you know.
Call the roll.
All right, call a roll, please.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seipel?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, we're on manager.
Yes.
Yes,
Mr. Mayor, I have a suggestion. The second meeting of December, which is December 20th, it's very close to the holidays. There's not a lot going on. I would recommend we not have that meeting, the second meeting of December.
What was the date of it?
It's December 20th.
City Manager, have you considered that the January 3rd, school's still out? So would it be possible for us to reconvene the second meeting, which would be the first time we meet would be the second scheduled meeting in January?
That's up to you, Commission. I do know that it's going to be very light for the second meeting of December.
December 20 and January 3, we'll just move it to second meeting in January.
That would be your call, if that's your desire.
I would support that, yeah.
Okay, motion for the third, second meeting and a third.
Motion to, would that be a reschedule, City Attorney?
It would be a reschedule with an appropriate motion to do the
Okay,
public
so
rescheduling.
if you could look at your Google Calendar there, what is the
17th.
January 17th? Thank you. I'll make a motion that we reschedule the December 20th, 2023 meeting and the January 3rd, 2024 meeting to convene on January 17th, 2024.
Okay, discussion? Hearing none?
Give me a second.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay. City Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seipel?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yep.
Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, City Manager.
All right, thank you. 21, Commissioner
Mr. Mayor?
City Attorney?
Number 20, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, City Attorney, one more.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioner. As you know, the city is in litigation with the case referenced as City of Pembroke Pines versus Con Edison et al. It's pending in the Broward Circuit Court. We had a shade meeting some number of weeks ago. We're in the middle of conducting various depositions which begin next week, including the city manager and other officials. From the standpoint of timing, I need a request for on the record, a shade meeting, not tomorrow, not the next day, but at some point in time between now and sometime after the next set of depositions are taken, probably either later in the year theoretically or early in the month of January as appropriate, to seek your guidance and approval pursuant to Chapter 286 of the Florida statutes, in which I would seek your guidance and direction regarding settlement opportunities, but not until after the depositions are taken. Thank you.
What is your pleasure?
Just need a motion to authorize a shade meeting when, as, and if requested by special counsel Jeremy Springhart. Thank you.
Moved by Commissioner Castillo, second by the Vice Mayor. Discussion. Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Seifel?
Yes.
Commissioner Good?
Yep.
Commissioner Schwartz? Mayor Ordus?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioners. I will seek your advice at that time. Thank you.
Commissioner Castillo, item 25.
Thank you very much. This is discussion and possible action to adopt a resolution similar to that of Alachua County in support of citizen efforts to create a right to clean water and to communicate our support of same to the state of Florida, Broward County cities, and other interested parties. Colleagues, when we enshrine a right to clean water in our Constitution, we act to protect not just our waters, but also, by so doing, protecting our land, our air, our wildlife, and ultimately ourselves. The inspiration for this came from Pembroke Pines resident Mary Stevens, who is here today. She's got a PowerPoint presentation to educate you on the initiative that she's part of. And at this time, I would ask her to come forward and share her thoughts with you about this important matter.
Push the button, please, and speak. Where the tape is.
Mary Stevens, 1301 Northwest 192nd Terrace, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33029. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, Attorney, and Clerk, Vice Mayor, Mayor Ordus. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I've been working with this group for almost a year now, and we have a petition. It's the Florida Right to Clean Water Organization. It's a grassroots, volunteer, nonpartisan, nonprofit, nonpartisan organization formed to place an amendment on the state constitution by citizens using a direct initiative that will give citizens of the state a right to clean and healthy waters. In August, the Environmental Advisory Board voted unanimously to support and promote the Right to Clean Water Act being put on the Florida state ballot. And they supported the idea that I come here and ask you to support it.
You need to tell the clerk when you want her to move the slide.
Pardon?
You need to tell the clerk when you want her to move the slide.
Yes. Well, what is the Florida Right to Clean Water petition about? The proposed Right to Clean Water ballot amendment intends to prohibit pollution of Florida's waters by recognizing Floridians have a right to clean water, and that water itself has a right to be free from pollution. It also intends to give any resident, non-governmental organization, or government entity of Florida the ability to enforce and defend these rights in court. The purpose of the amendment: water sustains all forms of life. Clean and healthy waters protect and promote substantial interests, including human health, safety, welfare, native fish and wildlife, conservation of natural resources, outdoor recreation, aesthetic values, business opportunities, property values, and economic interests throughout the state. Although considerable attention has been given to protect and conserve waters in Florida, with a comprehensive body of state environmental laws and regulations, such attention has not corrected the continuing decline in the condition of the state's waters. The poor condition of many important waters throughout the state has led the people of Florida in their inherent political power to create this fundamental right to clean and healthy waters. State executive agencies are instrumental to the effort to protect Florida waters from harm and threatened harm. Consequently, to promote the interest of Florida's people, businesses, organizations, communities, and economies in clean and healthy waters, this proposed amendment provides for equitable remedies against the actions or inactions of state executive agencies that harm or threaten Florida waters, with the goal of clean and healthy waters and the aspiration that waters in the state will one day flourish. Okay. This PowerPoint was actually 18 slides, but since I was the very last thing on the agenda, I didn't want to take too much time. If anybody really wants a lot more information, you can go to the website or speak to me and I'll guide you to find more information. Thank you.
Mary, I just want to thank you for putting all this information together for us, for being a caring environmentalist in our community. And Commissioners, I'd like to move the resolution for adoption. Thank you. Second.
I move.
Mr. Mayor, if you will, quickly, this would be a motion to draft, which we will draft for the next regular meeting when it could be considered by the commission.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Castillo, second by the Vice Mayor. Discussion.
Yes, for the city attorney.
Did you want to speak?
I did.
Okay.
If you let me. City attorney, I'm happy to support the resolution. More importantly, I want to see what we can do about getting signatures on petitions. So is there any action to the attorney that we can take that would not run afoul with the state law with respect to advocacy or education, whereas where we would where we would encourage people to sign petitions at city functions, meaning that we would have a member of the organization collecting signatures at all city events until such time that we can qualify for the ballot. I know that, you know, I don't know if July 4th we would miss the deadline there, but we do have opportunities with city events to have an organization collect signatures. And if we're going to do this, I want to do this big, I want to do this right. Can we do this legally?
May I respond, Mr. Mayor? If you look at the item that the clerk has before you, the attachment is the resolution, which is from Alachua County. If the motion passes this evening, we will prepare our own resolution for the city of Pembroke Pines, which will mirror this document as proposed by Commissioner Castillo and also by the Speaker. To the extent that the resolution will be supportive of the item, it will, and it's proposing the support for the constitutional amendment. The end result of which is what you're describing is something which would, if approved by the commission, would authorize this activity to occur. It is not something which you're doing personally. It's simply being handled by the organization that would be seeking the signatures of others. You will not be placing your hand on the item. You'll simply be supportive of the activity.
Right, but what I'm saying, would we be prohibited from having table space, booth space at all city events, whether it be the flea market or another event that the city has in a social way?
Let me just add that I had asked Commissioner Castillo about this a while back, and I'm a little late. I should have been up here before you months ago. But I have been at the flea markets at the Southwest Focal Point. I did have permission through Jay and the center there, and I have garnered petitions there. I also had a table that Christina Sorensen gave me permission to have at the July 4th event. And I will be at the Art and Music Fest on Sunday, because I work on Saturdays, with a table. I've been granted a table, and so I'll have petitions there. So if you know of anyone who would like to come and sign the petitions, I'll have them there, as well as if we could just maybe somehow, and I don't know if we can, publish the website and encourage people to go there and sign the petition, print a petition and send it in.
So, City Attorney, is that something that we can place on our website?
Let me clarify what you can and cannot do. You may remember some number of months ago, we published a memorandum regarding the expenditure of public monies for advocacy. Right. You're not doing that. That's not the intention of this motion. The
The motion is to prepare a resolution that supports an item. It's simply a public statement being made by the commission, but there shall be and will not be, even if adopted by the commission at the next available opportunity, the expenditure of any public resources or funds advocating for the item, because that is a problem under state law.
So is there anything that would prohibit the passage of this resolution to ask our vice mayor as the representative for the Broward League of Cities to prepare an item for the Broward League of Cities in order to get the Broward League of Cities involved in this process?
That would not be an issue, again, and not an expenditure of public funds or resources of the city administration or city commission.
So moved.
Well, I also wanted to know if I could just,
I want to pass this motion first. I move the motion. Need a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
What are we voting?
We're voting on the
Voting on directing us to draft the resolution consistent with the Alachua County model.
Okay.
All right, call the roll, please. Yes, that was me.
Yes.
Vice Mayor, next.
I made the motion.
there was already a motion.
There was already a motion.
Okay. About the league? Okay. All right.
motions, Mayor.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Hold on.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We're done. Yes, continue, please, I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if I could have permission to come maybe prior to city commission meetings and have petitions just outside.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Tell the mayor.
Thank you. Now, the sad thing is there's only a couple of more months we can do this.
Well, I mean,
But
yeah.
they're talking about, if we don't get enough signatures, maybe doing it again in 2026.
A lot of dirty water between now and then.
We'll get some people, we'll push for this.
Yeah, well, at least whatever number it is that we have had sign on the petitions, we can use that to try to mobilize.
Good idea. Thank you, Mary.
May I ask the
Yes.
city attorney a question? City attorney,
Yes, ma'am.
just made me think of, as we're trying to get this word out, can it go through our charter school system and be sent out to our parents and our families that way?
I would be concerned, Commissioner, Madam Vice Mayor, because if it's a city resource or expenditure of public dollars in a potential, and this is an advocacy piece, there's no question about it.
I just thought it might be a good
If I may, Mary, have you had any conversations with Louis Geary, Local 10? I know he does a phenomenal job, protecting water. So I'm saying is that if you're looking for signatures, we've got to get beyond the walls and borders of Pembroke Pines. It's got to be a South Florida effort.
Yes.
So,
Very good.
So, we can talk, but it's about getting local news to get people aware of the website, that they can sign up and do the petition. This resolution is fine, but it's not going to go that much. It's going to go slow. We got to go big in order for it to get to the 2024 ballot.
Well, one of the problems with the whole situation is we've been nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't had the money, for instance, to put up billboards and advertisements on TV. But the organization has gotten some money now, and they are going to be putting a few things on TV. But it's been difficult because of that.
Local 10 and Channel 7 and 4 and 6
They'll do it
to do
themselves.
a story to notify their viewers that they can go to this website, or a Sunday show. But anyway, we'll talk and
Yeah,
we'll
we've
get that working.
tried to do that. I
Tell
think
Louis the
something's
mayor
been
to-
done, but not much.
Mayor,
Yes.
no, she's finished, when she's finished.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I,
We already did.
No, actually,
but it hasn't been written up.
correct. The motion was to draft it, which I will do as the city attorney, to come back to the commission for their public approval.
Okay.
You'll see
So
that in
the
December.
resolution is already passed, even though it's not written?
No, ma'am. If I may, Mr. Mayor, the resolution has not been drafted. The Alachua County document is simply a model. We're not Alachua County, so we need to actually.
Right.
We need to tailor it to the city of Pembroke Pines, which they've
Mary, I'll
done.
email you.
For planning
Will
purposes.
we have to vote on that?
Next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, November
Now, I just-
15th, be here.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm not going to be in town that day,
Okay.
We'll do it.
so,
Next meeting, Commissioner.
We'll take care of it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, I do. I have two things that I forgot to say earlier. November 8th, it's finally here, is the grand opening, ribbon cutting, and all that for the new Memorial Cancer Institute at November 8th at 4 p.m. at the beautiful new building that we, as a community, are so very fortunate to have such quality health care there. And this is the whole new grand opening of the Cancer Institute. So that's fabulous.
And I have the honor of being the one asked to cut the ribbon.
Vice Mayor,
Really, Mayor? Really?
I'm told the ribbon cutting will be at 3:30.
3:30?
Yes.
Okay.
Pictures.
Okay, 3:30. The other thing is on November 8th, but at 6 p.m., Southwest Ranches, their town hall is a meeting of the Waste Task Force Group. That's the groups that are putting themselves together to talk about this whole garbage incinerator and all that. And this is actually the Waste Task Force Group. There are, and I don't have with me tonight, but I certainly will provide them to city manager and to city clerk, that there are schedules already out with dates and times, locations for the actual authority. Remember the group that is now the authority. There are three places that they're going to be holding these meetings, and I will ask that we can get that out and put that out on our website so folks would know about that as well.
Done.
So, okay, thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, good job.
Get ice cream. Good night, Sam.
Yeah, Mr. Dodge, see you tomorrow.
Berry cherries.
Oh. I don't know what it is. Sure. Great. You guys, I missed you.